Hello and welcome to the Rebirth Summit 2025 Stories of Unyielding Courage. I am Janine Emily Smith, co-host of the national TV show Rockstar Diaries, Healing Out Loud, and host of the Ride and Roar with the Badass Lioness podcast. The Badass formula is BADDASS, and it stands for bold enough to begin, audacious enough to dream, determined to rise, divine by design, aligned in purpose, strong in soul, so we can shine our light. I am your transformational speaker and story to stage goddess coach. I help women rise, revive, and thrive by transforming their stories into superpowers, their purpose into legacy level impact, influence, and income. I am honored to be selected as an interviewer for this international summit featuring over 100 inspiring stories of transformation and rebirth. Today, I have the pleasure of interviewing David Jacks. He is a transformational trauma and love manifestation coach who helps singles heal from childhood trauma and abusive partners. His work guides clients to a secure attachment style, healthy self-esteem, and confidence. After struggling for 28 years of misdiagnosis, insomnia, and non-functional days, David had a born-again experience where God informed him he was a messenger, and his message was love and forgiveness, as per his essay, The Accidental Abuser, where he reframes his view of his narcissistic father in order to forgive him. His credentials include a BA in psychology, certified brain health coach, certified energy coach, and former personal trainer Equinox. He combines his coaching methodologies with spiritual teachings and guidance to help his clients raise their vibrations and attract their purpose. Let us welcome David Jacks to the conversation. Hi, David.
Hi. Hi, Janine. Thank you for having me here, and
Welcome.
thank you for being our host.
Oh, thank you. It's been an honor. And I just want to jump right in and get to the beginning. What was life for you before your transformation? Describe the situation emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Help us feel where you were.
It was hard, honestly. So like my biggest challenge in life was sleep, insomnia, and yeah, I could never sleep through the night, and falling asleep was difficult, and staying asleep was difficult, and ever so often I would have these incidences where um, sleep would just be impossible, just not in the cards. I mean, I would take everything but the kitchen sink
Mhm.
and still be awake. And it always came in threes, this thing, whenever that happened. And during the day, I could not function. And there are times in my life where it was like 50% of the time. There's time in my life when it was like 10%, but it's always been there. But I didn't really understand what was happening. And what was happening was I was getting triggered. Something was happening that was reminding me of some abuse, but I wasn't necessarily putting those two things together, but my nervous system put them together. And the reason I couldn't sleep since I was a kid was I got stuck in the fight response because my father was always yelling at me, asking me 50 questions a day, insulting me. And it started out just being afraid of what he might find out would happen next or whatever. But it just stayed with me. And, you know, I think one of the biggest defeats of my life was when I went to the psychiatrist at 18 years old and I wanted to talk to him about my father, but he talked to my parents first and then he called me in and he said, David, I want you to know that you have depression and it's not your fault. Your grandmother had it and she killed herself. And I couldn't get anyone or anything somehow, some way to get off of the mood disorder stuff. And I was not going to accept that because say what you want about epigenetics and my grandmother and all that. There's something to be said about being insulted every day and facing 1 to 3 temper tantrums a week. Um, so that was really that was hard for me. But sleep was the hardest thing, and consistency was the hardest thing, and also the hard and what was really hard was not having any idea where to focus my efforts because I just knew that this wasn't bipolar alone. This wasn't depression alone. There was something else, but we never even considered trauma until COVID happened. And thankfully, around that time, though, I guess COVID brought things to the front of our minds, perhaps, but my best friend married a therapist. And as we got to know each other, she just pulled me to the side one day and was like, listen, David, your level of insomnia and what you've been through is trauma. That's not a mood disorder. And that was really big for me. And that got me going in the right direction. I know I just went on forever. So,
No,
but
you
but
didn't.
low self-esteem though, but low self-esteem and disorganized attachment style and there's things that I did in the past that like I would absolutely do differently now.
There's a lot to unpack there. The insomnia,
Yeah.
praise God for your best friend's, therapist that brought some light. What was there
Yeah.
another, like a specific breaking or turning point, a major moment that forced the change? I mean, was it that moment or is there another one?
Well, that put me in the right direction.
Mm.
And then somebody else referred me to a place called Severset. What they do brain echo audio.
Oh,
I think it's brain echo audio technique
yeah.
or therapy, but they put these things on your head and the machine listens to your brain waves and then like plays them back to you and somehow it levels you up and it's great for trauma. But so I was loving those treatments. I started getting those treatments and I was loving them, but some of my medication was contraindicated. And to be honest, they told me you got as far as you could, you should stop, but I don't listen, right? So I scheduled a couple more treatments and I kept pulling back on my prescriptions. And I woke up one morning while this was happening. I was getting excited because I was taking away these pills and I'm feeling like I'm coming to life, and I was, but I just woke up one morning like I was shot out of a cannon or bat out of hell, whatever you want to say, and my arms and legs were flailing all over the place, and I'm screaming, crying, laughing, every emotion you could imagine to the nth degree at the same time. Um, it was I really felt like being born again for the first time. Like there was no way I could ever imitate what occurred that morning, the way I woke up like that. And then I saw a light out of the corner of my eye, and outside the window there's the biggest, brightest, most powerful sun. Um, and it's exhilarating and terrifying. And then and that sun was over this beautiful field that actually was reminiscent of the park where I would go and pray and meditate. Um, rolling green hills and some big lakes. And then lastly, and then there was like this third entity or energy, and it was like the atmosphere was just whispering forgiveness, forgiveness, and so that really that was amazing, and I knew I was going to heal then and get all the way back, and I was very excited, and I started. I that's when I put together the idea of the Heal Project and everything, but and I knew I was going to get back to coaching, but it took me a little bit longer to get to where I am now than I thought. But I'm just so grateful to be where I am now. It was a long road. It was treacherous, and I'm just so happy to be at the other side and be able to finally help other people.
Yes, I am such a visual person, and the way you describe that, I can see it in my head, that moment, that, oh my goodness. Can you walk us through the internal process, that what the transformation felt like? Was there fear? What things happen?
Well, the thing is that even though I had that going on, that spiritual event that occurred, which really blew me away, and I just the forgiveness I interpreted that as Jesus, and both my parents are Jewish, so the whole thing is weird. But um, sorry, what was the Question
Oh, just the
again?
internal transformation. Just walk us through.
Oh, the internal, just over time, just the second guessing starts to go away. You get a hold of your inner critic where it's just you're just the boss. I'm the boss.
Yes.
Like, and I can see that you know what? I could get up every day at 6 a.m. and go to the gym. Um, that voice in your head, that second guessing yourself, that cognitive dissonance, that just really kind of went away from me. That cognitive dissonance where you're like, what you're doing isn't in alignment with your true self.
Mhm.
And that's how I had lived up to this point. But yeah, just to I'm sorry, I know I'm a little bit all over the place, but um it was really hard. It was really hard being me. I would be afraid of special events because what if I didn't sleep the night before?
Mhm.
Um, I didn't realize that just me being excited about something or upset about something, that can also ruin my sleep. But just being able to finally get consistent and to start seeing that I can trust myself and I could make plans and not worry about how I'm going to show up on that day. Um, like my life used to be, but just, yeah. And also, there's no way, like, I know I'm going to be a better partner next time I find, next time I end up in a relationship. Um, through my healing journey, there was some relationship stuff that came up that, yeah, I really would have done differently. I know better. So,
Work in progress. And you've mentioned so many golden nuggets. Was there, and you mentioned God and faith, was there a special someone or something that helped you through this process that you'd like to call out?
oh my God, I got a lot of support to be honest. I mean, my mom was unbelievable. I I had so I had my born again experience, and with that, it was kind of like a struggle of good and evil. I'm serious because I would have these emotional flashbacks that you get with complex PTSD where sometimes I would just feel rage out of nowhere, and then you have actual triggering events, and then you have me being super happy and feeling like I had everything. And it just took a while to get consistent and then grounded. Um, yeah. But
That's great. That's great. Hey, where are you now in your journey? We all want to
yeah,
know. And I mean,
yeah.
truly, just what has changed? Talk us through that.
I would say everything's changed. It's unbelievable. Sometimes, I knew you were going to ask me that. But, if I really just sat here and really just thought of it, it wouldn't be long before I started crying, you know, because it really didn't have to be that way. And that's part of it. When you go through your healing journey, there's a mourning period in there for the child that, it just didn't really have to be that way. Um, but now to be in a position where I could live a life of alignment and like my through line, if you will, ever since I was a little kid, was this agreement with God that if He helped me heal, I would turn around and heal others. And so to have the opportunity to be well enough to be able to contribute to other people, that means the world to me because I'm not the only one that had this kind of experience. There's a lot of people like me. And so yeah, I just feel incredibly blessed and lucky. That's all I ever wanted. And so that's that's it.
Well, talk us through how you're using your experience to help others in your mission, your business.
Yeah. Yeah, so as a coach, I have some coaching programs and your upward spiral and your upward spiral from trauma and live through love. Um, but basically I do some program coaching where I'm like a teacher and that would be like group coaching or one-on-one. I call it program coaching. And then there's one-on-one customized coaching, which we co-create together. We figure out what it's going to be. And I also sometimes, so Dr. Amen wanted in creating the brain health certification, he wanted an alternative for people who couldn't afford to go see him and spend $5,000, to get their brain scanned. So I use his assessments to determine brain type and recommend custom supplements. And so I know everything the Amen protocol, like I went through it myself. So I was a client, and beyond that, I did other things that I either found or my naturopath found. By the way, yeah, so shout out to my mom is a huge supporter, and Dr. Adrian Wilson is my naturopath. She's amazing. If you're in Phoenix or Scottsdale, to be treated by her is like being treated by Mother Nature herself. Um, Duri Yetter, business coach, Mark Shaw, my coach in New York City. Um, so yeah, um,
You're doing
I
a
don't know.
lot.
I feel like sorry.
No, you are an amazing gentleman. I just want to say I celebrated just September 9th, 2 years of marriage in my second chapter. And before that, I had been single for 20 years after an abusive marriage, and there were ups and downs.
Mhm.
And I want you to give somebody that's in that spot, stuck or in pain,
Yeah,
suffering, because that's what you've dedicated your life to. Just
yeah,
give them some words of wisdom.
yeah, yeah. You can see I still have the ADD thing going on, but um, and I was gonna say so customized coaching, but I also do this thing where I can create your supplement regimen and then just tell you what to do. So help you find your therapist, tell you what you do to take care of yourself. It's up to them. I just want to somehow play a role. I know that if I have a position in somebody's team, if I have a position, they're gonna get home. So we'll figure out exactly how we want to work together, but that's what I'm about. We work together, then we're getting home. The homeostasis, back in touch with God, all those fantastic things. And I'm also starting to work on the Heal Project, which I'm looking to launch. The Heal Project is to make people aware of things outside of Western medicine that can help people heal from mental health and trauma. And we are launching a scholarship for women and minorities that can't afford treatment. Um, I'm actually talking to Amy clinics about that now. Shh, we're working on it. Probably shouldn't just let that out, but it's okay. That's what's going on though. I'm in talks with Amy clinics and just feeling how we could work together and I could set something up and create a scholarship for women and minorities for treatment. But
Ah,
yeah,
thank you, Dave.
that's everything.
Amazing. It has been such a pleasure. I thank you for sharing your heart, your powerful story. Your journey certainly is a beacon of hope. This has been another incredible conversation on the Rebirth Summit 2025 Stories of Unyielding Courage. I'm Janine Emily Smith, your transformation speaker and Story 2 stage goddess coach. Please stay tuned for more incredible speakers and stories. It sure has been an honor to host this interview as part of this global movement for healing and transformation. This is Rebirth Tea signing off.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. I love that you're doing it all.